Hi everyone, welcome to practice. This is a heart resonance meditation. It focuses on the heart center and is an adaptation of a practice from the Sufi tradition. It's very simple and very effective at giving us a really visceral, tangible, embodied experience of the heart chakra, which is at the level of our physical heart but in the center of our chest. And we'll be working with this idea of resonance, which is a really powerful concept in yoga and in tantra. And we can use this concept or this tool to amplify the heart energy and to amplify the way that we embody the qualities of the heart within us. So before we dive into the practice itself, what is resonance? Resonance is identifying with the thing that sings. So if you imagine taking a tuning fork and you strike it, the tuning fork sends out these vibrations. And if a second tuning fork is brought close, then it'll actually get inspired by the vibrations of the first tuning fork, and it'll start singing at the same tone. It'll start vibrating at the same frequency. And the same thing happens with humans when we get inspired by something. It's the effect of syncing with the thing that sings. And this is where the saying, "it struck a chord with me," comes from. It's an exact metaphor that refers to the vibratory phenomena of resonance. During resonance, there is a transfer of energy in the form of vibration. And another way that you could think of this is if you cooee into a valley, the vibrations of sound, of your voice, they are amplified through nature's echo chamber. And resonance is really powerful in our yoga and meditation practice. So in the physical practice, the shapes that we create are designed to attune us to particular frequencies and energies. So if we do heart openers, it attunes us to the frequency of love. And also if we direct our mind towards the qualities of the heart, then that's what we begin to amplify in our lives. So essentially, we're using our body and our mind to attune with a particular frequency, and the more we do so, the more that we amplify those energies in our life. So due to resonance, when we do this practice on a regular basis, we can really start to see how its transformative capacity in our everyday life will take effect. In that we begin to be more heart-led, responding versus reacting to different situations, making decisions from a place of love rather than from a triggered place, and training the neural patterning in our brain to see things in a more positive versus critical or negative light. So it's as if love becomes our default, the road that is more trudged in our brain as we move through the world. And we're creating these pathways of access to kindness and compassion and carving these internal mental grooves that our awareness will swim through. And that'll take effect as we relate to people in our life and also in terms of the way that we relate to ourselves. So the practice builds our capacity for intimacy with ourselves and for intimacy with other people, and that's a really profound byproduct of connection to the heart center. Okay, come to a comfortable seat. You can elevate your hips a little onto a block or cushions. Bring your hands to your knees if you're cross-legged and bring them a little closer to your body, allowing your arms to drape down by your sides. And I love this meditation because there are different elements depending on what kind of temperament that we are. There's a breath element, a visual element, a sensory element. So you might like to tap in as we go to just assessing what aspects of the technique are most powerful for you. Okay. Get cozy and comfortable in your seat and lift your spine up nice and tall. And then feel this really gentle corseting sensation around your waistline. And you'll feel how as you do that, not in a really effortful way, just like the least amount of effort. There's a lengthening of your rib cage away from your pelvis. And a widening across your chest. When you feel ready, allow your eyes to fall all the way shut. And begin by relaxing. And the relaxation can be a gradual transition, a gradual process of internally scanning through your body, inspecting the internal rivers and channels of your body, combing through for gripping and holding and tension. And with an invitation for your body to recognize that it is a transition. When you give your body permission to transition towards relaxation, you take out the urgency to suddenly drop, to suddenly be anywhere, or suddenly change the way that it is right now. Bring your attention to your breath. Notice where the breath touches the tip of the nostrils. And feel the crawl of the breath up your nose, around the back of your throat, and descending, plunging, diving down to wherever it organically lands. And take one hand, any hand, and just bring it to the center of your chest, in line with your physical heart, and give it a little tickle. So you create an awareness to your heart space, to anahata chakra. And when you feel like you can anchor your attention in that place and you don't need your fingers tickling anymore, I like to do this always when I'm connecting to the heart at first. Give myself some visceral feedback. You can release your hand back down. And then as you inhale, begin to direct your breath from the tip of your nostrils around the back of your skull floor, down the back of your throat, landing in your heart space. And as we exhale, we're going to imagine breathing from the chest, from the heart, out, directly through your chest. So the inhale moves in through the nose, across the skull floor, down the back of your throat, and landing at anahata chakra. And the exhale moves from the heart center and out. Trace and map and mark that route, that pathway of prana with your awareness for a few more cycles of breath. And this works when you attempt to ride your awareness as closely as possible to the breath, like even submerge and swim your awareness inside the river of your breath. You can shrink your awareness down to the size of a tiny little ball or a tiny little orb and set it upon the current of your breath. And the tinier that the orb is, the more you have to zoom your attention in and map and mark every little pocket of that pathway that your awareness touches and that your breath touches. And this will help to invite a deeper, visceral and tangible feeling of the movement of the breath through every stretch inside of you, every centimeter. Okay, now begin to add the visual element. The center of your chest, imagine, visualize the embers of a fire. And now as you inhale, you're feeding the flames with air. And as you exhale, you're fanning the embers as you press the breath out through the chest. And the effect is that on the exhalation, there is an amplification of the embers. So you know when you blow on a fire and the embers turn yellow and orange, they glow. Every inhale, draw breath in, and every exhale, blow onto the embers of the internal fire and amplify the energy of the heart out. And as you build each cycle, as you amplify, you may feel sensations connected to the visual, meaning you might feel a sense of warmth in the center of your heart. You might feel a deep heat in your chest, expanding like a magnetic force field that is building and brewing from the embers and radiating outwards from the center of your chest. Maybe you feel little prickly hot spots, a flickering, fireworks, whatever it is for you. It doesn't even necessarily need to be identified. See how deeply you can submerge in the sensation. How much you can animate the visual inside of you. And how much detail you can cultivate by bathing the whole entire orb of your awareness within the river of your breath that is drifting in on your inhale and amplifying, radiating the embers, blowing on the embers of the fire as you exhale. And the last aspect and the last element of this meditation is to consciously cultivate the qualities connected to your heart. So I invite you to cook up. Bring forwards as best you can the feeling inside of yourself of kindness or compassion or generosity or unconditional love, empathy. And if it helps you to remember a time when you felt one of these emotions, if it helps, you can think of an experience or a person or an animal and try to feel it with your whole being, with your whole essence. And so now you're looping the breath through the nose into the heart on your inhale, fanning, feeling the lick of flames as you exhale to amplify anahata chakra. And your whole chest might start to feel like the sun, the nurturer, the giver of life, that feeds nourishment in the form of light and warmth and radiance all around. Keep feeding the embers. Allow the visual to get clearer and more crystal, more vibrant, more illuminated inside of you. Let every cell of your body be saturated in the emotions and the qualities of the heart. And if your mind wanders, bring it back to the feeling, the touch of the breath, the kiss of the breath, or the visual, the sensations that you feel. Or the cue, the prompt that pulls you into whatever quality of the heart is speaking to you most right now. And if you drift away again, come back. And dive deeper into what you feel. Maybe the texture, the quality of the heat changes and becomes more like a spark, more electric, more wild, more dense. Or maybe it is more soft and diffuse, and more evenly distributed from your heart center all the way out. Take a final couple of breaths to blow the embers of your heart fire. And then let go of the technique. And stay very close to what you feel. Noticing how this instrument of your body has been retuned, plugged into a different frequency, and there is a ripple on, an echo, a byproduct of your efforts. You can place one hand or two hands to your heart, stay connected to this place, and a gesture of recognition that you have access to this energy anytime you want to. And then separate your hands just off your heart and potentially feel the connection of your heart to your hands. Maybe there is a palpable charge, emanation from your chest through your hands. You can palpate this energy. Make little circles, like you're playing with this chi ball. And the heart meridian moves from the center of your chest all the way down the heart, all the way down the arms to the center of your palms. And as you're ready, release your hand down. And take your time to drift your awareness back towards the surface, more physical layers of your experience, bringing movement back into your hands, your wrists, your neck, your jaw, your eyes. You can swallow and lick your lips. Acknowledge yourself for your practice. And stay connected to your heart field for as long as possible as you transition into the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me.